Today on Public Eye News, General Motors to spend nearly $7 billion on an electric vehicle investment here in Michigan. And Minnesota groups unite to oppose marijuana legalization. Later, we will have both your weather for the weekend and your sports update. Hi, I'm Scott Minshall, and this is Public Eye News. General Motors will be making a $7 billion investment into a manufacturing plant right here in Michigan. The investment, which is the largest in company history, will convert the existing Orion Township plant to begin making electric pickup trucks, and it will also construct a new facility in Lansing to build batteries for the vehicles. The construction will create up to 4,000 new jobs and keep another 1,000 employees on the payroll at additional plants around the state. According to General Motors CEO Mary Barra, the investment will make Michigan, quote, the epicenter of the electric vehicle industry, end quote. Current timelines have both of the projects wrapping up in about 2 years. A Pennsylvania man lost in the woods over the weekend was found by police dogs on Sunday evening. The Roscommon County Sheriff's Department reported they received a report of a missing 58-year-old man who had never returned home from a walk. The man, believed to be cognitively impaired, had been missing for several hours when Deputy Dakota Tarcea and his dog Ghost arrived at the scene of where the man was last known to be. The deputy and police dogs tracked the man for about a half-mile through a thick wooded area before finding him. The man was taken to a hospital to be treated for exposure. A snowmobile accident has claimed the life of a 73-year-old Wisconsin man after colliding with a tree along the snowmobile trail number 160 in Ironwood Township around 2 p.m. this past Sunday. Richard Rexman of Burlington, Wisconsin was riding with his wife Kathy when the collision occurred. Rexman was pronounced dead at the scene of the crash and his wife was hospitalized for a shoulder injury. Republicans in the Wisconsin Assembly have put forward a bill that will prohibit vaccine passports and require employers to count prior COVID infection as an alternative to vaccination. The bills are expected to be vetoed by Democratic Governor Tony Evers, who vetoed similar bills last year. While Republican backers maintain that natural immunity is at least as effective as the vaccine, a number of health groups around Wisconsin argue that the best way to protect yourself against the coronavirus is to get vaccinated. Many businesses, groups, and organizations in Minnesota on Monday announced the formation of a coalition to oppose the legalization of marijuana in the state after the bill passed in the last legislative session. The bill would legalize marijuana use for adults and remove cannabis convictions. The coalition, named the Minnesotans Against Marijuana Legalization, voiced the concerns of Republican lawmakers that the legalization would cause an increase of drivers driving under the influence and failed drug tests in the workplace would increase the worker shortage. Although officials believe a floor vote in the GOP-controlled Senate is unlikely to pass. Don't touch that dial because we will be back with your national and international news right after this break.
Pass presents The Harmonies.
I see your face every single night.
Saturday night at midnight on WNMU-TV.
Traditional standardized testing is changing in a big way for high school students. The SAT, which has historically been a rite of passage for graduating high schoolers looking to continue their education, will be switching to a virtual format. The change comes as more and more colleges make test scores optional for students and as many school districts around the country move away from standardized testing. While students will be able to take the test on their own laptop or tablets, they will still have to physically be at a testing site while being monitored by a proctor. The new electronic version of the test will go into effect next year internationally and in the United States in 2024. Native American tribes in California are regaining a small part of their heritage as a conservation group outside Los Angeles has announced a plan to transfer more than 500 acres to the Intertribal Wilderness Council. The land, which includes many ancient redwood trees, was once inhabited by the ancestors of the 10 tribes that make up the Wilderness Council. For the best protection against COVID-19, the CDC recommends layered masks. Like the N95 mask, and notes that fitting well is also crucial. This, with so many masks on the market, it can be confusing about which ones are the right ones to protect yourself. CBS's Elise Preston takes a closer look with the help of an aerosol scientist.
There are a lot of opinions on what kind of masks offer the best protection against COVID-19.
The most important thing I look for when I'm picking a mask is the amount of protection that it's going to give.
I think anything could be a mask as long as it's just covering your mouth and your nose.
Mechanical engineer Aaron Collins somewhat agrees.
The mask you're wearing is better than no mask at all.
But Collins, a self-described mask nerd, has put his specialty in aerosol science to the test at his own home laboratory.
There's a little aerosol generator here.
He fills a room with a harmless sodium chloride solution and tries out masks one by one. Throughout the pandemic, he's been posting his raw data and analysis on YouTube.
Watching that concentration come down.
He looks for filtration, fit, and comfort, but has his favorites, including the N95 from 3M, the KN95 from Powacom, and from LG, the KF94.
And the KF94 is the South Korean standard. It's their general population mask standard. They designed it for like what would you have to do if you had a pandemic and you needed to mask everyone.
Collins says if you order masks online, get them directly from the manufacturer. If you'd rather pick them up in person, the federal government is rolling out a free mask program in pharmacies around the country. Those masks will be N95 masks. For KN95 masks, Collins says a real one must be labeled with the words KN95, the name of the manufacturer and the standard it was tested against. The CDC says 60% of KN95s on the market are counterfeit. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
Ukraine's leaders reassured the nation that an invasion from neighboring Russia was not imminent, even as Ukraine leaders acknowledged that the threat is real. Moscow has denied it is planning an assault, but an estimated 100,000 troops have gathered near Ukraine in recent weeks and are holding military drills on multiple locations around Russia. This has led the United States and its NATO allies to rush to prepare for a possible war. The United States ordered 8,500 troops for potential deployment to Europe as part of an alliance response force if necessary. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson also said he is prepared to send troops to protect NATO allies in Europe. An expert panel in Israel advised the Israeli government to begin offering a fourth vaccine dose to all those over the age of 14. Israel has already offered a second booster to those over 60 or with compromised immune systems. Israel continues to be on the leading of the world's vaccine distribution. Since the late 2020, the country has gathered extensive pandemic resources since the beginning of the outbreak. In the United States, an average of 22 veterans die each day by suicide. To raise awareness, one East Tennessee group is marching together to bring camaraderie from the battlefield to civilian life. WVLT's Jared Austin reports from Knoxville, Tennessee.
Dozens of East Tennesseans are marching 5.11 miles together to start a conversation.
Come out, talk to somebody, because you could be the difference in somebody's life.
Something Army veteran Curtis Driver needed in his life.
I was almost a victim of suicide, and Team Red, White, and Blue saved me.
To help himself, he went on a march with Team Red, White, and Blue.
It was a ruck on the Greenway, and this really nice lady walked with me, and we talked for an hour, and man, I was hooked.
Now Driver is a member of Red, White, and Blue, trying to spread awareness about veteran suicide.
Being an Army veteran and having lost friends to suicide, you know, it's very important to raise awareness and to be available.
Team Red, White, and Blue stresses to anyone marching, people should talk to someone they've never met and march along with them. To signify the 22 veterans who die by suicide a day, 22 pairs of combat boots with American flags in them sat outside 511 Tactical where the march began.
By putting people who have successfully done it together in a place where they can talk about it and really become each other's mentor is going to be the path forward to make the largest impact possible.
Veterans from all different generations and wars marching on together for the common goal of being there for their fellow vets. In Knoxville, Jared Austin, WVLT News.
next few days through the weekend. First off, we have a special weather advisory over the next few days with a wind chill advisory from Houghton all the way down to the Marquette coastline. Weather over the next few nights is going to feel as low as negative 35 degrees, so make sure you are staying safe and layering up if you're going to venture outside. As we look into the weather tonight, current conditions, we have partly cloudy with a high of 7 degrees, winds at southeast at 11 miles an hour, and our pressure is 30.23 inches and falling. Looking into tonight, it's going to get as low as 1 degree, winds out of the west-northwest at 10 miles an hour. And tomorrow we have cloudy conditions that are going to be a high of 12 degrees and winds coming out of the south-southwest at 21 miles an hour. As we look around the UP at our current temperatures, starting over in Sault Ste. Marie, we have 15 degrees and snowy. Down in Manistee, it's going to be 13 degrees and partly cloudy. Escanaba, 12 degrees and partly cloudy. Menominee, it's going to be 10 degrees and partly cloudy. Looking over at the other side of the UP, over in Iron Mountain, it's going to be 10 degrees and partly cloudy. Ironwood's going to be 9 degrees and cloudy. Over in Iron Mountain, it's going to be negative 4 degrees and partly cloudy. Up in Houghton, it's going to be 5 degrees and cloudy. And here in beautiful Marquette, it is 7 degrees and partly cloudy. Looking ahead through the weekend, Thursday, we're going to have a high of 32 degrees and a low of 6 degrees with snowy conditions. Friday, we're going to have a high of 16 degrees, a low of 2 degrees and partly cloudy. And on Saturday, it's going to be a high of 19 degrees, a little bit warmer with a low of 13 degrees and partly cloudy. Stick with us because right after this short break, we'll be back with your sports update. Future Hall of Fame quarterback Tom Brady has been stirring retirement rumors recently as he comments on his future in the NFL. Brady's retirement has been a topic of discussion at the end of every NFL season for the last decade. Although this year, as the quarterback nears 45 years old, it seems as if we might finally see the end of one of the greatest careers in NFL history. Brady has spoken Monday about how continuing to play at the professional level has impacted his personal health and the effect it has on his family. These comments have led to speculation that a retirement announcement could be coming very soon. The Winter Olympics are set to begin in February, and as athletes start to arrive in Beijing, officials have already detected 72 coronavirus cases in staff brought in to work the games. As of now, no athletes have tested positive, and medical officials say that there is no reason to worry as the 72 cases are built into the expected number of cases they expected to have. The games are being held in a bubble format similar to the way the major sports leagues in the United States held their seasons last year. Athletes and staff alike were tested before heading to China and will continue to be tested daily throughout the entirety of the Olympics. Due to health and safety protocols, the hockey series between the Northern Michigan Wildcats and the Michigan Tech Huskies that was set to take place this past weekend had to be postponed. The CCHA has now rescheduled those games to a pair of Tuesdays in February. The first game will take place next Tuesday in Houghton on Michigan Tech's campus, and the second place will take place the following Tuesday here in Marquette on the campus of Northern Michigan University. Moving out of the sports world, that is all the time we have for today here on Public Eye News. On behalf of everyone here at PBS Channel 13 and everyone on Public Eye News, I'm Scott Mitchell. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.